Hey guys, it's Jacob. I don't really know how to start this video. This is going to be the video of me telling the story of how I ended up in this situation and why I decided to go homeless. I feel like, to be fully transparent with you guys, I've been putting off making this video out of fear and anxiety. Fear that I don't want anyone involved to get hurt. Fear that I don't want to get hurt. Fear that I'm sharing too much. Fear that people can use this information against me in the long run. But I have to stay true to myself when I tell this story instead of keeping it cute and vague, because, you know, it took a lot for me to get here. It took a lot for me to get to this point of choosing to live in my car. It took a lot of tolerance. It took a lot of trauma, a lot of abuse, a lot of mistreatment, a lot of confusing times, a lot of patience. I didn't just wake up one morning and say, I want to live in my car. These people are not treating me right, whatever, bye. That's not quite how it happened. So please be patient with me as I tell this story, because this is going to be a long one. This is going to be a longer video. So if you have the time, please get seated, get relaxed, grab a drink, do whatever. And more importantly, there's a playlist linked on my channel called the How I Escaped My Old Life. That video series is pretty much a prequel to the story that I'm about to tell. So if you haven't watched it, I highly, highly suggest going over there and watching it. I promise this is not a marketing ploy, but if I am sharing the story of my life and months following the timeline that I shared throughout that video series, it kind of makes sense for you to only watch it, because I bet there will be a lot of questions and comments after this video gets posted that could easily be answered for yourself if you were to just watch the previous videos. And there will be some things that I refer to and some people, and if you don't watch the video series, it might be really, really confusing and you won't quite know what's going on. And I don't want to have to tell this story, is the truth of the matter, but I'm telling this story because, for a few reasons. One, I just want to get it off my chest already. I just want to release it into the world. I want to get it out of my body and forget about it, especially going into the new year. And secondly, there is a lot of challenging situations that I'll be speaking about in this video, full disclaimer. And I truly feel like, God, I don't know how I got myself through it, but I did. And I know that there's other people out there going through the same thing or something similar. And if I could just be brave enough to come forward with details about the situation, then I truly think it can help anyone, regardless of how young you are or how old you are. So please be patient with me as I tell this story. So why did I choose to go homeless? Why did I choose to be homeless? I want to break this up into two specific reasons. The first reason being, I was a very, very sheltered kid. As soon as I entered the second grade, I moved to a town where I would continue to go to school throughout all of my school years, throughout all of elementary, throughout all of middle school, throughout all of high school. And then when I headed off to college, I still stayed in the same town, in the same city, in the same house. So I've been living in the same hometown for, I want to say 15, 16 years. And I've been in the same house, specifically the same house, for the last 8-9 years, including the pandemic. So you can only imagine growing up in a place that is so stagnant and familiar. And when you get to this stage in your life after you're done with college and you're kind of more grown up, it can be really mentally taxing, to say the least, when you are just in the same environment for so long. It begins to feel like a cage and not like a home. And you always just begin to wonder what's outside of this place. Not to mention, I think being in that hometown brought up a lot of old feelings and old memories that surrounded past people, past energies, and past experiences. I've been on this healing journey for a while, throughout pretty much the entire year. And going back to the house that I've just been in for so long, and to be so surrounded by that past energy, was difficult for me emotionally and mentally. And I guess the way to sum up the first reason is, regardless if I have another shelter ready and available to me, I saw more value and more merit in walking away from a place that I've known for so long, because I felt it wasn't just sheltering me, it was beginning to cage me. And I felt less motivated. I felt less driven. I felt less will to actually go out and create a new life for myself, because I still felt so surrounded by old energy. I don't know if that quite makes sense, but I was ready for a change in my environment. I was ready to just try something new and have a new experience, regardless of what that looked like. And I can tell you today, not that this situation doesn't have its own challenges, because it does, but I absolutely made the right decision, because there's already been so much more that I've learned about myself and that I've experienced since living in my car. So with that, I feel it was a justified enough reason to want to get out of that house and try something new. The second reason why I decided to become homeless was because I felt that no matter what people said, no matter how many times we went back and forth, I never was receiving the love I felt I gave and that I deserved when it came to my family and my friendships, but that's completely separate. Again, How I Escaped My Old Life series. I feel the best way to put this is to kind of break up the timeline a little bit. So in 2023, I was graduating college with Red in 2023 in May. And on my graduation day, my sister, whom was one of the people in my family that was invited to the graduation, texts me at midnight. Mind you, I have to be up at 5 o'clock in the morning because we have graduation rehearsal at 6, and then the graduation begins at like 8 or 9. So I didn't really have time to, do anything. It was time for me to get to bed. I want to preface this story by saying, when I was sending out graduation tickets to people in my family, I sent it out 2 weeks in advance and texted them, asking them to make sure and confirm to me that they received the ticket, because I didn't want there to be any complications last minute. To which I'm pretty sure I received a confirmation from my sister and everybody else. Besides the point, it is literally the day of my graduation at midnight, and my sister texts me and she's like, hey, I didn't get I don't know where the ticket is. I didn't get it. And I was like, I sent it to you. You should have gotten it. And she was like, well, I didn't get it. Can you just resend it again? And I was like, honestly, I don't have the time to be sending it again. I have to be up in 5 hours. I think this is really irresponsible and inconsiderate. And immediately she goes off on me. This is over text, by the way. And she's like, well, if you want me there, then send the ticket again. You don't know what it's like to be a hardworking adult in this day and age. You and your stupid anime friend are graduating and whatever. You don't know the first thing about hard work. us adults have a lot of responsibilities to take care of, and it's hard being an adult. Sometimes we forget things, so just send it again. And I said, first of all, you don't need to make a jab at me and my friend who's like not even here. I don't get it. But how do I want to say this? Please bear with me. I'm sorry. I have to like do so much revisiting of the past. Long story short, I pretty much said to her, you don't need to say those rude things about me or my friend. And God forbid this was a concert ticket, you wouldn't have forgotten to print it out. But if this meant something enough to you, you would have taken the due diligence to print it out. And you didn't. So she ended up blocking me because of that. And she blocked me for 7 months. She ended up not going to my graduation, although I literally am not holding that against her at all, because I made that choice to stay content with her not going because I didn't want to print out a ticket for her again. Not only after she was irresponsible, but after she disrespected me and my friend. So I said, you know what? You don't need to come if you don't want to be there. So don't come. She didn't go. I was blocked for 7 months. 7 months later, she unblocks me. And she sees a video of mine that I've posted on TikTok. And it's like it's literally just like a 9-second silly video of me like dancing in the camera. I'm wearing like a green tank top, these brown shorts, and like these black socks that go up to my knee. And she sends me a text and she's like, do you ever think you could help me with my TikTok? Granted, she never liked, she never commented, she never followed, she didn't show any sort of support for my content. She just reached out for her own benefit and said, can you help me with my content? And I was like, yeah, maybe when I have time. I never had intention on actually doing that, but a few weeks goes by and she references that video that she saw, and she was like, by the way, I don't think that this is the best look for you to dress inappropriately, like if you're trying to like go into corporate and have a job. And I understand where she's coming from, and I honestly appreciate that she was looking out for me. I just think she went about, looking out for me in a rude way. I just think that things could have been handled a little bit more delicately or gently. I thought she was being pretty inconsiderate, and I told her my feelings on that. And I was like, look, I appreciate you reaching out, but it's a little hurtful that, you never cared to show support on any of my content, but you were reaching out for the sake of your own benefit. And now you're commenting on like the things that I'm wearing, and it's not even inappropriate or suggestive. And I want to preface by saying, when she first unblocked me and we had a conversation, she said, just tell me how you feel from now on when you're having a feeling, because I don't want to have arguments to go back and forth. So when this conversation came up, I was telling her my feelings, and she immediately went, look, I can't deal with you and your drama again. If you keep it up, I'm going to have to block you again. And so I snapped, because I thought in that moment that was so emotionally manipulative for you to not care that you blocked your younger brother for 7 months with no closure, no response, no nothing after you wronged him. And now you're going to just threaten to block me again all willy-nilly like it's nothing. So I got mad and I said, fuck you, you cunt. You're blocked. Don't speak to me again. And I blocked her. And I've kept her block up to this date. Let's fast forward to just a few days ago. As I started posting these YouTube videos, she's came across them, and she had her dad reach out to mine. We have different dads, but we have the same mom. And her dad was pretty much like, hey, Jake, sis wants to talk to you. Like, let me know when you get this, whatever. And I pretty much said, I would like my boundaries respected. If you know that she doesn't have communication with me or access to me, please respect my boundaries with that. Thank you. And he ended up pretty much saying, regardless, we're family and I'm just trying to help. Like, I'm here for you. And, you know, I just want to help. And I understand that and I appreciate that. But I ended up saying, regardless, nothing. If someone has boundaries that are set in place, you have to respect them both ways, whether you're involved in the situation or not. So I appreciate you taking the time to check in. I know your intention is pure and you're just trying to help your daughter out, but please respect my boundaries because I only communicate to and interact with people that respect me. Happy holidays. And I left it there. Throughout these next few days, and I'm literally saying this as like I'm currently speaking, she's made, you know, the text-free apps where you can, you know, generate a random phone number and talk to people. She's made several different text-free phone numbers to text and call me off of just to get my attention. I've tried ignoring it for a few days because I didn't want to give in and give away my power and be like, damn, I have this girl blocked and I set up a boundary in place. And while she's not respecting it, if I have to reach out to say this is bothering me, please stop, that means I'm stepping out of my power because she found a way to break through my boundary. And I really didn't want to message and respond because I would have just been bending my own boundaries for someone that found a way through it. But nonetheless, a few days ago, if you go back to, I think it's the Christmas Eve homeless vlog, my Bluetooth was broken because she called me. The Bluetooth was fine, my phone was connected, but when I got that receiving call from her on the no caller ID, I declined it and then my Bluetooth stopped working and that fucked with my whole day. So she called me about 20 minutes later again, and I told God, I was like, God, if she calls me again, I'm going to pick up and cuss her out. Just because not only was I annoyed that she was really not respecting my boundaries for the sake that, you know, she kept reaching out. And I responded to her too on one of the phone numbers. She was like, please just let me know you're getting this. I just want to know you're okay. I'm like, I'm okay. I get this. Like, I'm receiving this, but know that I want my boundaries and my space respected. Goodbye. You're blocked again. That's what I said. And she kept making phone numbers. So I ended up picking up this call. And immediately she's like, Jake, I just want to say something. I'm like, look, you're dead to me. We're not family. And you need to respect my boundaries. You might see me as the little brother that you once had, but that person's gone. I'm not going to bend on my rules for you. And we ended up going back and forth. This story is going to be so long if I sit here telling all the details, but long story short, my sister tried pulling the card on me that, like, you know, we're family and I want to be your sister and whatever. And I'm like, it's funny that you're saying that we're family and you're using that mantra. Bitch, you don't get to use that mantra. When it was time for my graduation, it wasn't like we're family and we should always be kumbaya. You blocked me for 7 months as if it meant nothing. And then you threatened to block me again as if it meant nothing. You didn't care about my feelings or what impact that would have had on me. But now when it's your turn on the receiving end to not have contact with someone, you're throwing up the, oh, but we're family. Oh, but I'm your sister. I want to be your sister. And you've had me blocked for so long. And so regardless, she ended up telling me that, like, she's changed and what can we do for her to show me to prove that she's changed. And I was like, you've already proved that you haven't changed. Had you changed, you would have said, hey, Jake, it's sis. Just want to make sure you're okay. I'm sorry for what's happened in the past and for how I've been. Please just let me know that you get this. I've seen your YouTube videos. I want to know you're okay and I'll respect your space. And if I responded and said, I still want my space, you would have been like, this makes me upset, but I understand and I'll respect that. And I hope one day we can speak in the future. That's what I would have been given. But instead, I was given spam call upon spam call upon spam call across a number of days throughout the holidays. And yeah, you've proved to me that you haven't changed. Because for me to have a relationship with someone, they already need to understand that that is a sign of disrespect. I don't want to have to tell you that. I've done that my whole life. I'm done doing that. I pretty much ended up telling her, like, look, I love you. I don't have any hard feelings against you. I appreciate you checking in on me, but I want my space because I know you haven't changed. And she was like, well, can we grab lunch and talk about it? Because, you know, like, a lot of things can get misconstrued on the phone or over text. And I think we can talk about this in person. And, you know, we're family and we're supposed to lean on each other. We used to be so close. Yeah, we used to be, until you fucked up. So, my whole thing that I was saying was, you know, sis, you can't reach out when it's convenient for you. Knowing that you're disrespecting my boundaries or not. I understand reaching out just to see if I'm okay. But once you realize that, you have to respect my space. It doesn't matter if you're ready to have a relationship again. We both need to be ready. You have to have that respect for me and hold that space for me. And I should be doing the same for you. So I ended up just saying, just don't reach out. I'll reach out when I'm ready. And I'll reach out once I know that you've changed. And she's like, okay. And I was like, okay, well, love you. And she was like, you too. And that also proved to me that she has not changed. Because again, her reaching out was the fact that she saw my YouTube videos, she saw that it was performing somewhat well, and she probably decided to capitalize off of that, like she did with the TikTok videos. You don't give a fuck about me, by the way, if you're watching this, because I know you are, because you've told me that you've watched every single video, and this is your way of keeping in contact with me. So if you are watching, I just want to say, don't expect me to reach out. I'm not saying that one day you can't be forgiven or that people can't change, but just know I know already if you've changed or not. And your actions have proved to me that you don't give a fuck about me, my feelings, or my boundaries as much as you are saying that you do. You've hurt me, not just in recent times, but in my life. You've never taken accountability for it. I've always had to be strong. Just because now we're sitting here and you're able to watch the videos on your end of the screen and recognize, damn, he really was hurt. Damn, he really was the peacekeeper. And after disrespecting me and spam calling me, like, who does that? That's so childish. You're going to sit here and act like you see where I'm coming from when really you don't. So leave me alone. Because the truth of the matter is, we're not family, and I don't owe you anything. I don't need your help. I don't want your help. I find more peace when you're away from me, because the minute that you are in my life, it's a relationship where we have to constantly work things out and talk things through. I'm not saying all relationships are perfect, by the way. Communication is a two-way street. But I've learned that through communicating with you, you don't hold space for my end. You always try and talk over me. You don't see where I'm coming from, and you always have this mindset in your head that I'm the older sister and I know better, and I'm just getting my point across. I'm done with the entitled bullshit. So with that being said, you've probably changed a lot since the last time we spoke, and know that I'm proud of you for that. But have you changed enough? No. And I get to say that for me, for my life. It's my turn to respect myself and love myself and treat myself differently than I used to. So, if you really do love me, prove it. Respect my space. Show up the way I show up. And love me from a distance. I wanted to bring this part of the story up because a lot of you guys might ask, do you have siblings? Do you have anyone that you can stay with? And the answer is no. And I will completely explain that as the story progresses, but the first person that was on the docket was my sister, and that started all the way back in 2023 during the summer. So me and my sister are not on speaking terms. She doesn't respect me. She doesn't love me. It's not reciprocated. And I've chosen to distance myself for my own peace and my own happiness. So no, I can't just go and stay with my sister because I choose not to. The next person on the docket is my mother.